Look, here's the deal. Look, I want to buck you guys up a little bit. Did you hear what I said? I said buck you guys up. Von Allen Sports, this is Sleepy Joe, and I got to give you a shout out, man. He's a good guy, because he could kick my ass, that's why. But he's not going to do that. He's going to pick on our old man. Here's the deal, guys. I got a whole dossier on you here. You could probably never shut up about Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I don't like that, man. That's too close to Let's Go Brandon. Let's be honest, you football guys. I know what you're doing at the game. You're all chanting, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon. Von Allen Sports, let's go. I think you guys are great. And I think I ought to join your group. You know why? Because I'm basement butthurt, that's why. I spent the whole campaign in the basement, and I'm gonna do it again. That's how I win, you know. They locked me in the basement. So I'm basement butthurt. I'm halfway there, guys. Let's do this. Come on, man.
Von Allen Sports.
Enjoy the silence.
Von Allen Sports on Patreon. Fuck you. I'm joining.
Von Allen Sports.
If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports, the Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports.
What is up, guys? How long is, maybe my memory's bad, but didn't they start the Saturday games a little earlier? They started them last week. Was that always like that, or did we have because it used to be Saturday games? Maybe it was after Thanksgiving. I don't know. It caught me off guard. Last week it caught me off guard, but we've got a few games. We had a few games today, a couple of games today. One of them is still going, so I'm going to try to find that real quick. What is that on? Is it on ESPN? Let's see here. I know the Bengals got the crap kicked out of them by the Steelers. I don't think anybody wants that second place in that division, do they? They just keep going back and forth. Okay. Looks like Cleveland, maybe. Well, Joe Flacco, I'm pulling for him. That's why I'm wearing brown today, actually. So let's go. Let's go, Cleveland. Okay, I've got it on now. All right. So yeah, so LA is beating Buffalo right now 10-7. Classic trap game. They just got rid of their homosexual head coach. I think he might be. I'm not sure. by the way he was sticking his ass in the air before pregame the other day. I'm not sure. So, who knows? Okay. How you guys doing? What an intro, right? Okay. Blind Assassin, what's up, man? Elfin Courage is here. Nice. Bioxboxkash is here. John Thomas Chavez, what's up, man? The Gord King. Your Highness is here. Let's see. Tyree, what's up, man? Consul Tyree Vaughn. Israel. Peacock. You said cock. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense why Chris Collinsworth works for NBC. He loves the cock. So, or he loves Patrick Mahomes' cock. Although he also loves Landon Dickerson coming right down his throat. That's an exact quote. That's a real quote, by the way. Just so you know, if you don't believe me. Yeah, Biops, Steelers hitting that mandatory 500 record as always. Yeah, Gord King, the Chargers got tired of chanting "Let's go, Brandon," which had a whole different meaning in Los Angeles. That's a good one. Man, we have a game this in week 16 that I'm just completely and absolutely psyched. Josh Allen just scored a touchdown. Too easy. But the Ravens versus 49ers, I am very, very hyped about that. That, of course, that's a Super Bowl rematch of a Super Bowl game in 2012 where the Ravens came out on top. But I think this could also be a Super Bowl preview. It just depends. It just depends because, like I told you guys, I am sticking to my my prediction that the Chiefs will get to the Super Bowl if they're in close games. The only way they're not going to the Super Bowl is if they are just blown out. All right. So I hope I'm wrong. This is one of those win-win situations as far as I'm concerned, because if they lose in a close game, kind of like they did in the AFC Championship game against the Bengals, then I will be incorrect in my assessment, and that's wonderful. That's great news. I don't want to be correct because that's gonna. I don't know, man. After the last two Super Bowls, I think that might be the dagger in my chest if that happens again. So the only way the Chiefs are not going to the Super Bowl this year, I don't care what you think they look like. I don't care how their guys are dropping passes. You watch. All of a sudden, the playoffs will come, and they'll start getting these pass interference calls. They'll start getting down the field. Their players will be able to, set pick plays and stuff, which we know that they've done that before. Their offense will be able to set pick plays and stuff to get to the end zone. A lot of weird shit will start happening, and you'll see. You'll see. So that's the deal. So a team is going to have to blow them out and be so far ahead that it's just insurmountable. Like there's nothing they can do. That's the only way it's going to happen. But if everything is legit and on the up and up, it's obvious that in the NFC, the Ravens are the team to beat as long as Lamar Jackson doesn't choke his ass off like he has done in the past in the playoffs when we're counting on him or we're expecting him to do something and he just doesn't come through. But I like the way the Ravens are built. Now, real quick, I want to continue talking about this matchup first because I just have something on my mind. I want to get off my mind there, but I just want to catch up with you guys in the comments real quick. Cleveland is the AFC dark horse. Yeah, man, I would love nothing more. I would absolutely go crazy if the Super Bowl was the Browns versus the Lions. That would be just unreal. That would be the most hilarious thing ever. Biocop says Browns beat the Niners, Ravens, and Jags. Pretty good. The Ravens game, I'm not surprised. Division, like I always preach, division games are strange. They don't tell us a whole lot because the Browns could have 2 wins right now and still somehow end up getting a win off the Ravens. Like division games are like that, right? But if that was their only thing, I wouldn't care about it. But because it's paired with or it's combined with the 49ers, that's a cross conference victory against who I think is the best team in the NFL right now. And then that win over the Jags is pretty solid. I know the Jags aren't great or whatever, but they're okay. They're okay. That's a good win. So yeah, it's pretty good. Exactly. Now just imagine if Sean Watson wasn't out and he was getting like improving. Like we know what his peak is. We know what his what his best looks like. If he could got to that level and still be playing, imagine what the Browns could be doing. But we've also seen Joe Flacco have these weird moments of brilliance. At times, it's 2012. He had a pretty good game, a pretty good playoff appearance in 2014. He gave us some trouble, if you remember. But even last week when they won, he looked bad for a while. Like he threw some terrible balls that like just didn't make any sense. And it was like, oh, okay, that's why he's Joe Flacco backup quarterback, right? So I don't know. I don't trust it, but I'm pulling for them. That'd be nice. Yeah. Brandon Staley, awful head coach. You guys know, those of you who follow this channel for years have listened to me bitch about this guy, complained about him. Honestly, I think I started complaining about him from the very beginning. The very first few weeks of the season, he did something, and I can't remember what it was. Some kind of weird decision that just pissed me off. Like I was just like, what is this stupid shit? Lost him the game. And then ever since, I just watched him just snowball into oblivion. Gordon King says, the NFL has announced that if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, they will be employing a special guest referee. Taylor Swift! Woo! I think, he says, I think the Chiefs play the 49ers, there's a 110% chance they'll show highlights of the last time they played each other in the Super Bowl with Bad Blood playing over the highlights. That's quite, yeah, could see that. But at least this time it'd be different. The 49ers have a quarterback that can complete a wide open pass. That's always nice. So, Biocop says, please send me that Biden video if you don't mind. Sure. So just email me, vonallensports@icloud.com. It's right there in the bottom right corner of the video. Email me and I'll send it right to you. I'd be happy to. Of course, because Biocop's alter ego is Biden, blah, 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 blah. If you guys don't know, that comedian, that guy who did the Joe Biden intro, he is from the TV show, the night show, Gutfeld on Fox. That's how I found out about him. But Israel says, at this point, we'd rather have Taylor Swift as the refs than these guys. These officials are absolutely trash. Yep. Najanka Nikolova. Hey, Jana. Welcome. That's Milena's mom. I don't know if she's ever been on here before. Interesting. Thank you for joining. All right. So, first, so we have a lot to talk about. So we're going to talk about the Ravens 49ers matchup, and we want to talk about the referees and the situation with the referees. I touched on it a little bit. I made a short video last week. I'd also like to talk about it's those brownouts again. Remember, I live in California. This is the state where they make everybody buy electric cars, but the grid can't handle it. But at the same time, try to take away your gas cars, and this is what you get. This is called This is called Democrat brilliance right here. That's what we call it here in California. But I'd also like to talk about a new Deflategate. So, all right. Well, regarding the Ravens 49ers, here is what I like about the 49ers. And there's something, what makes them so, potentially extremely scary. And now listen, follow me closely here. I am not calling them a dynasty, okay? I'm not saying that they're going to be a dynasty. They've not even won anything, all right? But I will say they have the formula for one, okay? They have the making of, like all dynasties have that, the way things are constructed. They're constructed well. So if they go on a run, let's say they win Super Bowl, blah, 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 and that would at least, we could see the blueprint for it. We'd be like, oh, okay, that I see how they have that. Are they going to do that? No, because the percentage chances of that happening are very low. It's extremely low, actually. So no, but I'm just saying this is just a way of saying that they're built very well, okay? And they're built the way I like to see a team built. And here's how. What you want is you want a team that is the head coach, whatever that head coach's specialty is, and he's got to be good, okay? He's got to be good at what he does. But whatever his specialty is, if the opposite side of the ball is better than what your specialty is, you've got something here, okay? So you've got something that could be very long lasting. And for example, the Patriots, what they did for so long. So we all know Bill Belichick is a great defensive coordinator, okay? If I could hire him, if I had a team and hire him as a defensive coordinator, I would throw $10 million a year at him just to be my coordinator, okay? Imagine Bill Belichick, all he has to do is focus on defense. He doesn't have to think about salary cap, doesn't think about all the other stuff going on. All he has to do is think about defense. Well, Belichick had an offense that was better than his defense for a lot of the time, okay? That was great, all right? You can have your outliers like the first year and all that, but people overstate the 03 and 04 defenses. The offense was just as, with Brady out there, you have something, okay? But in the second, let's say the second half of the dynasty, whatever you want to call it, you've got a head coach who is a defensive head coach whose offense is actually taking care of itself, essentially, all right? That is an amazing recipe, because if you're a head coach and you are good at something and that side of the ball is really good, but the other side of the ball is usually very weak, okay, in comparison. Now that can win sometimes. We've seen that there's a few like, well, honestly, really the only recent one I could think of is the Chiefs. You know, right now they're actually built. I think they're built better now. I would prefer the Chiefs to be built the way they are. Like if I was a Chiefs fan, I would prefer this year's team. I would be happy with the defense being so fucking good. Okay, because I know that I've got Andy Reid on the offense. Doing the offense. I know I've got Patrick Mahomes and you got Kelsey, and as long as you've got those pieces, something can happen, and you can make things happen. But if your defense is great too, that's a great formula. But Shanahan's defense, like 49ers are actually a defensive team. Like that's what I think about them. They're like built perfectly for the playoffs. But we know Shanahan is a great offensive coordinator, and we know what he can do. But his defense is even better than that. That right there, that is the recipe for a long-lasting team. If you can keep those players together, keep them healthy and everything, you have got something. Because you've got Brock Purdy, who is playing at an MVP level right now. He could be possibly MVP, him or Christian McCaffrey. As long as the 49ers keep winning, it's going to be one of those two. Someone wearing a 49ers jersey is going to be MVP this year, as long as the 49ers don't slip up. Of course, when you've got Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy on the same field together at the same time, they are undefeated. They have not lost. I think they're like 16-0, 17-0, something like that. All right? That's on a team where your defense is better than you. That's insane. All right? That is phenomenal. And you've got a guy like Purdy who just isn't trying to go for glory. He's not trying to go for the hero ball. He's not trying to do no-look passes and all that stupid shit, okay? He's just making the right decisions. He's making the good decisions. And I'm not talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, okay? Jimmy could not make throws. Brock Purdy can make these throws. If Brock Purdy was the quarterback in 2019, they would have beaten the Chiefs in that Super Bowl, okay? Anybody disagree with that? I mean, other than the usual suspects who will disagree just to be, disagreeing. But most of you, right? You would agree with that? So Brock Purdy is not Jimmy. And I'm tired of people bringing that up all the time. Brock is a much better player, much smarter, he's got way more guts, way more, and he seems to be dedicated to football more so than Jimmy. Jimmy seemed to always be kind of half checked out. But, yeah, and I mean, the 49ers got the best running back in football. I mean, he's just unstoppable. Deebo Samuel, insanely good. And then you've got that amazing defense, and that just it reminds me of the Patriots. Now, again, I'm not calling Brock Purdy Tom Brady. I'm not calling it's just. But Tom never had a great running back, and so Purdy does. He's got the best running back in the league, so that kind of helps him. He doesn't have to be Tom Brady, is what I'm saying. But I just like the way it's built. You've got a quarterback who's not going to make a whole lot of money, for a while, but yet he's playing like he's making $25 million a year. But you're getting $25-30 million a year playing for what, $2 million bucks? Like, how much does he make? Like, it can't be much. It's got to be very, very little. Milena, what is Brock Purdy's salary? Do you know? But yeah, I'm really, really into the 49ers right now. It's not about bandwagon or anything like that. I don't care about that. The 49ers have been in the mix for years. There's really no bandwagon or anything. I don't know. It's just we pick them every year to go far. But I like them because this gives me Patriots vibes, right? I mean, it's kind of the flip. With the coach who what the coach's expertise is, but it's still got that. It's got that feeling, got that vibe. And another thing the 49ers have is that the head coach is not the GM. The head coach is the head coach, and you've got a GM, and you've got a good GM that is making those decisions. So you're not, there's not that element there. So everybody can just do their job, and I think that's got the good makings of a good future. If they slip up, I still think there's an opportunity for Dallas. Dallas didn't look good last week, but it happens. This is the NFL, guys. Matchups, weird matchups and stuff. Do you find it?
Oh, it says he signed a 4-year contract. You mean now?
Yeah, 4-year contract. How much was it worth?
$3.7 million.
Oh my God, 4-year Brock Purdy, 4-year, 3.7 million. Is that right? 3.7 million. Guys, that's like 880 million or 880,000 a year or something. Okay, so this guy, if he is MVP this year, even if he's not MVP this year, he's like going to get like second place, right? Third place probably. That's $30 million a year playing. That's the value that you're getting out of that. Okay, for nothing. Okay, in NFL terms, that's nothing. I mean. It's that's good. It was confirmed. It was matched by somebody else, so you're right.
Because the base is 870 million.
Yeah, say 870,000.
Yeah.
He makes under $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Think about that, and he might be MVP this year. All right, so you have a quarterback that is playing like he's being paid $30 million a year, but you got him for less than $1 million.
Right.
So what does that mean? The rest of the team. You can spend money on the rest of the team. And that is That's what I'm saying. That is why the 49ers are scary for the future. If you're a 49ers fan, I envy you a little bit because I miss that feeling. I miss that feeling of knowing that the future looks good. I miss that feeling of knowing that every year we got a chance. Every year, something big could happen. It looks like that the 49ers have that. Again, I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying, though, that at least you got that vibe and the road is fun. And I just miss that feeling. I miss every week knowing that we have a chance to win. And, yeah. But we got to do that for 20 years, and so we can't complain too much, So nothing lasts forever. That's true. Elva Courage, he was drafted. He's Mr. Irrelevant, so he was the last pick in the draft. So the very last pick of the 7th round. He was picked a full round later than Tom Brady was. Wow. But remember, everybody right now on the internet is talking shit about Purdy. What are they throwing at him? Game manager, all this shit. Game manager. Yeah, you know why? First round bias. There it is. First round bias. That old first round bias keeps creeping up on us, doesn't it? If you're not a first rounder, they're changing. I've saw this, guys. They're changing the parameters of what it means to be MVP. Okay, I'll show you this. This is something I found earlier today. Yeah. So. This is ridiculous. Just show you this, guys. This is going to be like, you're immediately going to go, oh my God, this is immediately familiar, right? So, you ready for this, Melina? Yeah. Now that Brock Purdy is playing like an MVP level, Brock Purdy has broken so many brains with his play that the new criteria for MVP level quarterback play is as follows. Number 1, you cannot have a good coach. You cannot have more than one weapon. Every pass must be a tight window throw, and wide receivers must fall down immediately after catching a pass because, God forbid, he got yards after the catch. Okay. Who does this sound like? What does this sound like? This is Tom Brady all over again. Yeah. This is every excuse. What does this describe, though? This describes Mahomes. This right here is actually the same description as Mahomes every fucking year that he's been in the league. Okay? Mahomes has a great coach, has more than one weapon. Not all of his passes are tight windows. These are fucking wide open guys schemed by Andy Reid. And he is like the king of yak. All right? Some ridiculous stat. I think I don't want to put myself in a corner and say a number, but I know it's a lot. Like Patrick Mahomes is like one of the biggest yak quarterbacks there are. That's what this is, but they're using it against Purdy, but they won't use it against Mahomes. And why the fuck will they not use it against Mahomes? Because Mahomes was drafted in the first motherfucking round. Yeah. All right? If Mahomes was not drafted in the first round, it'd be a different fucking thing. Let me tell you something. Russell Wilson, and it has nothing to do with other factors because Russell Wilson was picked in the 3rd round and he still gets disrespected. He's always gotten disrespected. How many times was he shunned for things and accolades and people always questioning him? Why? 3rd round pick, started his career with a good defense. He was never going to get a chance. He was never going to get a full complimentary of all the what I call this, social accolades and the public opinion and all the knob gobbling of everybody, right? If Russell Wilson was a 1st round quarterback, none of that talk would have happened. The whole, he's got the Legion of Boom, blah, 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 blah. Well, they would have just considered him an equal part of that. But no, because he's 3rd rounder, well, fuck you, Wilson. You're not good enough, okay? I can keep going. Drew Brees, 2nd rounder, okay? Drew Brees, Chargers say, yeah, fuck you. We want to get rid of you. We want the 1st rounder. We think your shoulder's fucked. if they had spent a first round pick on Drew Brees, shoulder or not, he could have had his fucking spleen hanging out his asshole, and they would have kept him. I'm not joking. They would have kept him. But he's just a second rounder. Let's just push him out the door. How's the Chargers doing, by the way? What did Breeze go on and do? I can't remember. Something. I think he did something. I'm pretty sure. Fucking first round bias bullshit. And all of this shit starts at college. Because these fuckers are hyped to oblivion. All right? They're so hyped. They look good in college, and everybody follows them in college. I'm on the outside. I don't follow them, so I don't worship these little fuckers before they ever step foot on an NFL field. But everybody else does. And so they have to push for these fucks because they have to prove that they're right. They have to support what they were saying. Okay? And it's not just the fans. The fans do it because they were following that guy, so they want to look like they're smart and like they know what they're talking about. Psychologically, probably don't even realize over years and years and years that they're even doing it. It's like a bias that's already built in because they started out like that. But it's the scouts that do it. It's the owners. The owners keep giving them chances because they don't want to look like a fucking fool. You know? Oh, we spent a first-round pick, so we got to give them another chance. Look what the Eagles did. The Eagles, Nick Foles comes in, wins them a Super Bowl against the fucking Patriots. Tom Brady's Patriots at some of the greatest height of his power. All right? What do? The very next week 1, next season, they start Carson Wentz. Why the fuck did you do that? You did that because you spent a second pick overall on Carson Wentz. Because you thought, oh, if Nick Foles can do that, then Carson Wentz can do it. Well, how? Fucking Carson Wentz fucking gets injured again because he's made of glass. And then Nick Foles has to come in, comes back in, and then wins you another playoff game in the second year in a row that he's there. And then you get rid of him. Now, I don't care about what Nick Foles did after that. All I care about is that for some reason, Nick Foles on the Eagles was Kurt fucking Warner. Okay? Why? There's a lot of factors. It could be. Okay? The locker room believed in him. They thought he was the guy. Okay? And athletes are very superstitious. They don't like changes. They don't like when, if you don't believe me, look at the 2011 Broncos. All right? Watch them follow Tim Tebow. Okay? To a playoff victory. Tim Tebow. For some reason, that worked. It worked. You keep that. You keep that going. You keep that up. I'm not talking about the Tim Tebow thing. I'm talking about that kind of magic. You keep it up with Nick Foles. I don't care where he was picked or where he came from. I don't care about all that. All I know is that Nick Foles on this team, on this Eagles team, is awesome. So you keep that going. And you say, Carson Wentz, fuck off. Okay? You either make him your backup or try to trade that horrible contract of his. That's what you do. And you get more weapons around Nick Foles. That's what you do. What did they do? Oh, we're going to stick with Nick. 2 years. It took them 2 years in a row they didn't learn their lesson. What happened to all that? I'll tell you what the result was. Nick Foles is no longer in the NFL because, I don't think he is anyway. If he is, he's somewhere randomly because he was a perfect fit for that system, that Eagles team. So he's without a job. Carson Wentz. I think he's a backup in L.A. we found out recently. Nobody gives a flying fuck. We had to look it up. We had to find this guy. Head coach is fired. Okay, now he's down in Jacksonville. So everybody got fucked. It's like, what the hell, man? What is this? These are these decisions. Kurt Warner, let's get rid of Kurt Warner. He's expendable. He wasn't even drafted. He can't be that good. It's got to be our genius. That's what Mike Martz thought. It's my genius that made Kurt Warner. There's no way in hell that Kurt Warner can play in the Arena League and Europe, NFL Europe, and then come here and win the Super Bowl and be MVP 2 out of 3 years without it being my genius. Where's Mike Martz right now? Where's Mike Martz been for 15 fucking years without Kurt Warner? Whatever happened to the guy that replaced him, Mark Bulger? What did he ever do? Where's his MVPs? Where's his rings? What happened to Kurt? Oh, yeah. Kurt was dumped. He went to the Giants. Then he was dumped by the Giants. And then he went to the Cardinals. And he took one of the worst franchises in sports history all the way to the Super Bowl and came within a ridiculous Santonio Holmes touchdown catch of winning a Super Bowl for that shitty-ass Cardinals organization. That's what happened to Kurt Warner. Oh, but he's not a first-rounder. He's expendable. It was Mike Mart's genius. Remember that. Oh, yeah. Kurt Warner, he went over to the Cardinals, and he only got him to the Super Bowl because of Ken Wisenhunt's genius. Yeah, Ken Wisenhunt. Why am I so angry right now? Why does this make me angry? It makes me angry. It pisses me off. I don't know why. It bugs me. Fucking people are so stupid. You know, it's not just that. People do this in relationships too. They have something great in a relationship, and they always think it's something's better. Oh, if I've got this girl or this guy or whatever, it must be my greatness. It must be how amazing I am. So I'm going to go and try to do this or that. You know, the fucking owners do that same shit. You know, and coaches make these same. It's just, I don't understand it. Listen. Know when you've got something. Know when you've got something and stick to that. And just to be clear, I am not saying that it's bad to take first round. I'm not saying anything against first round quarterbacks, okay? I just want to make that clear. If you see a first round talent that you think is worth it, you get him. You go get him, obviously. That's not what this is about. This is about when a team has a first round quarterback, but they won't get rid of him or they won't move him on because somebody else is better, just because of the sake that he's a first rounder. So let's just stick with it. Let's just keep it going. Let's, that is what, at least the Patriots had the good sense to keep Brady instead of moving on from Bledsoe after giving him $100 million, and that was a hard contract to move. So that's why they had to trade him within the division. I'm sure they probably didn't want to do that, but, they did. And, but, they had the good sense to realize what they had. So. Elva Courage sends a $5 super chat. Actually, I need to get his earlier one. I posted it, but I didn't address it. This is about, let's see here. This is about the statistic stuff in the contest. He says a $10 super chat. Thank you, Elf. He says, how about converting it to yards, sacks category? So doing so you're talking about like the touchdown interception ratio, because the NFL counts sacks on quarterbacks as negative yards. You could take the total yards by quarterback and subtract the yards that a quarterback is sacked for. I love it. Let's do it. So yeah, let's do that. So from now on, yards will be a ratio thing as well. I like it. Alpha Courage also sends a $5 super chat. He says, LA Chargers are leading the Bills, which means the Bills are going to win. Well, wait a minute. Brandon Staley's not the coach, though. So maybe things get switched. Maybe things get all screwed up here. You never know. 146 Zigzag says, Congrats to the Lakers. Congrats to the Lakers for hanging up their participation banner. LeBron just one more away from matching Jordan, right? Dude, I have actually, I saw someone say that they've been hearing that people are talking about that as like LeBron's 5th ring or something. I don't know. This is pathetic. I cannot express enough how pathetic that is. That not just that the way they're treating it, but the concept anyway. I think the concept is absolutely fucking stupid. All right. If you're trying to get more attention and make the regular season more important, there's other things you could do. So you could shorten the season a little. You could possibly spread games out, make them a little more so they're special. Things are more important. I know the NBA is kind of a different thing, but I don't think having an in-season tournament is. I didn't even know it existed, so it clearly didn't have the. I don't know. So trying to compete with the NFL, I wouldn't try to do that. I think it just, or why not start your season later? And maybe the NBA season doesn't start until closer to the end of the year. You could, I don't know, you could do different things, and then you're not competing with the NFL. So yeah, I don't know what that's all about. As far as like, I know they said they wanted to compete with the NFL a little bit, but don't do that. Nobody can compete with the NFL. It's king. It's king, and it's been forever for all of our lives probably. Or what? No, not maybe the last 20 years at least. I think baseball was still popular in the 90s, but baseball has been king football's been king for 20 years. I don't know what the hell why they're doing that, but I'm not an NBA expert or anything. I don't have all the answers for what they could do, but another thing they could do if they want to get ratings, more excitement, is not allow load management. So allowing them to sit these famous players. What the fuck is load management? If you ask Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan that, they would be like, back when they were playing, they were like, huh? Load management? Wait, you want me to sit and I'm not injured? And you don't want me to play? What are you doing? So you could stop that, and maybe people who pay their hard-earned money to go to a game. I do know that these basketball, like for example, you have a West Coast team and you have all these famous players like Stephen Curry and LeBron James and stuff. When they go on a Eastern Seaboard tour, playing all the teams in the Eastern United States, they do a lot of that load management. They sit them, and for the fans, that is the only game in the entire year that they're going to get to see those superstars, and then all that is wasted. So that also builds resentment. So there are other things I think that they could do besides this stupid ass little in-season tournament. But whatever. Fuck NBA. Fuck basketball. Jordan's the GOAT. It's not even close. I'm tired of hearing about LeBron. It's a joke. LeBron's not even Kobe. So whatever. All right. Elva Courage, since a $5 super chat, he says, and yet 95% of first-round quarterbacks fail. Yes, they do. Okay? Now, there's reasons for that. There's other reasons. Now, some of the reason is, of course, missing on who they are. But a lot of it, and we have to understand this, is that first-round quarterbacks generally are picked in the first 10, 15 picks, right? And they usually go to a bad team. And so if you get off to a bad start, that's generally going to crush you, So there's that factor too, right? But it's just so difficult. It's so difficult. The interview process is probably one of the worst things about that teams do when drafting a quarterback, is that the interview process is not done correctly. With a quarterback, it's about the psychology. It's about the mind, all right? It's not about the physical. If you're interviewing them, it means they have the physical, okay? If you're interviewing them, if they're even worth talking to, then you already know that they can throw the football or run or whatever it is that you're looking for from them, okay? But what these owners do is that they let those highlights do the talking. They let that be the number one factor, you know? I'm still waiting on Trevor Lawrence to be the next Peyton Manning or whatever, okay? Still waiting. I'm not saying that he won't be a great player or could be, but it sure is taking a long fucking time, okay, compared to what everybody was talking about and saying. Now, he did go to a bad team, so there's that too, right? I even like Trevor Lawrence. I think he has potential, but people were just relying on his physical gifts and what they saw and his maturity and how he, came across. They fall into that. They fall into that rut, and it's just like, oh, it's always about the physical. Highlight. Well, highlights are very misleading when you're coming out of college, because you've got to look at all kinds of situations. What kind of organization did it come from? What program is it? Who are the other players around them? Those things. What is the coaching like? Is your coach that on your NFL team, is he like the coach in your college coach? Because if they're different coaches, then it might not convert. It might not work. If they're different styles, different approaches. So all those things have to be held into account. But the number one thing is interviewing them and getting to know who they are. Can they be broken? Okay? The number one thing I would do if I was working for an NFL team and interviewing potential quarterback prospects, the very first thing I'd do is I would immediately play mind games with them. I would say things to get them rattled. I would do things and to piss them off, to possibly make them concerned, to make them nervous, and I want to see how they react. I want to know what they'll do. Weird little tactics, little things, showing up late, being obnoxious in front of them. Having somebody sit in the room being a total obnoxious dick and see if they get distracted while I'm talking. If I'm talking to him about something very important, I have a guy sitting next to me that's just over there acting like a complete dipshit. And then after 5 minutes of that, I ask the guy, the kid I'm interviewing, to say, hey, what did I just say? And let's see if he focused on me. Let's see if he was aware of the guy, but it didn't matter. It didn't change. Okay? I need to know if you can handle weird situations. I need to know if you can understand, or if you can handle chaos. I need to know that you can focus while also knowing what's going on around you, but not letting that be everything. So you've got to have, a quarterback's got to have vision. You've got to be able to see that over there, that over there, that over there, but you can't give everything to one thing. You've got to kind of know what's going on, but above all, you got to, you have to be a good leader. And during the interview process, you can get that out of them. You can kind of find out who they are. The mind is everything for these guys, because again, the physical gifts, you wouldn't be interviewing them if they didn't have that. So. You like that, Israel? Is that Colin Cowherd? Yeah. Maybe I'm turning into Colin Cowherd, bitter divorced guy. That's funny. The Gordon King says, by the way, Von Allen Sports, I'm doing a live show on March 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be talking about our favorite sports movies. Would be cool to have you there. Of course. I'd love that. Oh, yeah. That would be awesome. That'd be fun. Oh, there's so many. That's going to be hard. That's going to be difficult. I'll tell you, one of them that will be up there already is I love Any Given Sunday. I love that. I love, there's so much good in that movie, like the way they talk and the way they act. Like the conversation between Al Pacino and Jamie Foxx when he has him come over his house, and Ben-Hur is on the TV screen. And he tells, he gets mad at him, and he tells him what it means to be a quarterback. And it's, he's like, it's the top spot, kid. It's the guy who takes the fall when everything goes down, but it's the guy who gets all the glory. And he's explaining to him that it's so true. And then that conversation Lawrence Taylor has in the spa or whatever. Yeah, he said for every Jerry Rice, for every Barry Sanders, because he's telling Jimmy Foxx, you ain't shit. Don't act like you're so great. This can be taken from you. Because he's like, for every Barry Sanders, for every Jerry Rice, there's 1,000 motherfuckers you never heard of. So, this stuff like that, it's just all through the movie. Or where Lawrence Taylor cuts open his truck, cuts it in half. And he says, football is a complementary game. It's about offense and defense. You can't have one without the other. And he cut his truck in half in order to prove that. It's an awesome movie. I love that movie. Any Given Sunday? 99, I think. And you have the owner, the girl who inherits the team from her father. Like we've had that before with the McCaskies, with the Bears and stuff, and a few other teams, I think. But that is so true. How they act, trying to move the team. The Spanoses and Stan Kroenke did that recently, trying to move the team to L.A. just to make the value go up, but they don't give a flying fuck about football at all or anything like that, or the city that they come from. Especially the Chargers in the Chargers case. So, yeah, there's just so much good in that movie. It's good stuff. As far as sports comedy, my favorite's the Major League movies. I know it's baseball, but I've seen those movies a million times, and I still laugh my ass off all the way through it. Those are just too good. Blind Assassin says the wife must be home. You're ranting. Yes, Melina's here. Well, because when I make eye contact with her, when I see her, then I turn into Aaron at home mode where I'm just bitching. So if you guys want to know what it's like to live with me, Melina has to listen to this all day long. That what you call a rant a while ago, that's what I'm doing all day about anything and everything. So. Some of you guys have watched football with me here at my apartment, like Bitcoin Motorists. Welcome, man. Bitcoin's been here, and some of you other guys and stuff. You guys know how I am. Yeah, that's not a dull moment. Not a dull moment. Is that what you said? Yeah. Hey, could you hook me up?
You gotta ring the bell.
Oh, I don't have a bell with me. The squirrel stole it. Bitcoin says something interesting. But sacks are already subtracted from yards. Wouldn't that double count sacks? They already apply them in the box score? There you go. Thank you. Nice heads up from Bitcoin. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that they already did it. No, I got my Coke one. My Coke. I didn't know they factored that in on the box score itself. I thought you had to kind of. Okay. You know what? You're right. You're right. Yep. I knew that. All right. Bitcoin knows basketball very well. Bitcoin, I usually go to him for my basketball stuff. If he says NBA season should start Christmas Day. I love that. That'd be good. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up for those of y'all listening on the podcast. You know, Rudy's okay. I never, I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but, yeah. But I don't know if I want to talk about movies on this channel. Last time we did that, everyone went fucking ape shit because I didn't like Godfather. All right. Oh, Slapshot's really good. Yeah. You know, this may be my my childhood bias, but I'm just going to admit it. I did like the Mighty Ducks. Okay. But I was a kid, and I loved hockey. I played hockey. So Mighty Ducks. Actually, Mighty Ducks 2 is the best one. I didn't find, Gord King, I didn't find Slapshot as funny as I just found it interesting. And again, it's a hockey movie, so I liked it. But I never thought of it as ha-ha funny. Like, not like that. But Mighty Ducks is a nostalgic thing. Mighty Ducks isn't, I wouldn't watch it right now and go, oh, that's a phenomenal piece of theater. Blech. You know, it's our childhood, you know. Sandlot, same thing, yeah. Yeah, so Bitcoin is confirmed. And I knew that. I don't even know why that didn't, because I'm always thinking in terms of like, I always put up the stats in my formula. I have to where they're not separated because you're pulling up, but what they do on the box score is different. But yeah, that's absolutely true. So it's already happening. So, phew, good thing that you came on here and said that. All right. What old, yeah. Okay, so Bitcoin, yeah, in college, he says college sacks are subtracted from rushing yards, and NFL subtracts from passing yards. Yeah, cool. So in our in the contest, it really won't matter which one they pull from, since we add all the yards together, even receiving yards. So if you have a quarterback that goes out for a pass and catches it, he gets credit for that. That's pretty good. John Thomas Chavez, this is something interesting that he's saying here, and I've wondered this as well. He says maybe it's unsurprising because he's old and senile. I don't know about that. Maybe he's got CTE. But Joe Montana, who was with Notre Dame when Rudy got to play, downplayed Rudy's hype with the team. Maybe it's Joe, maybe it's Hollywood hype. Yeah, probably a little bit of both. You know, I mean, a good story, I think. But, you know, for Joe, we've seen Joe, like what he does and how he says things to make himself look better. You know, he used to praise Brady and be one of his biggest supporters. And then once Tom got 4, all of a sudden everything got all weird and shit. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad, Israel. I'm glad you brought this up. So, Israel sends me a Patreon super chat. It says, Aaron, have you seen that Rodney Harrison? Have you seen what Rodney Harrison has been saying? My gut always told me he was secretly jealous of Tom Brady, and I may have been right. Those comments can't come from anywhere but jealousy. So it's well known, amongst like Patriot fans, especially if you're a Patriot fan from, back then, the first 3 Super Bowls and when Rodney came in 2003. Rodney doesn't like Tom, okay? They've never liked each other. They don't get along. Tom is very cordial and tries to be like classy about it and nice and stuff, but he doesn't like Rodney, and Rodney doesn't like Tom. And Rodney always had the position that he didn't like that people would give Tom credit for things. And it's like the Joe Montana thing. So in order to make himself look better, it's got to be all about the defense. So you've got to take away from Brady. So you've got to talk shit. And this is just consistent with that, I remember Harrison famously went after Tom when they were playing against the Ravens and told Tom to take off the skirt or whatever, when in reality that had nothing to do with Tom, and Tom was, utilizing the rules to his advantage, which is what every good quarterback should do. Has nothing to do with that. Rodney is basically what he's saying is that Patrick Mahomes is going to be the GOAT. And okay. Well, you know what? Perhaps if Rodney Harrison couldn't have gotten defeated by a no-name wide receiver, then Tom would have an undefeated Super Bowl right now. So maybe Rodney doesn't need to say shit. Okay? So maybe he should just shut the fuck up, honestly. But that's typical. So this is nothing new. I wasn't surprised when I saw it. I expect anything from Rodney to have some kind of something like that. Like, it's just, Also, Rodney is very pro-Belichick. He loves Bill. Bill loves him. And so there's that whole loyalty to Bill, loyalty to the defense, and the defense, was the reason and all this stuff. And he's convinced himself of that. So not surprised at all. Israel. So you didn't know that? Yeah. So they used to get in fights during practice, Tom and Rodney, all the time. Bill thought it was funny. I guess he was trying to use Rodney to rattle the other guys. It wasn't just Tom that Rodney did that with, though. But Rodney was a dick, and that Tom just didn't like him, and they didn't like each other. So Rodney's very petty as well. Bitcoin says, did you already talk about the new Deflategate? So no, I mentioned that we were going to talk about it, but I hadn't got there yet. So might as well. This is a good segue. So the kicking balls against or with the Patriots against the Chiefs on Sunday, the kicking balls were underinflated, all of them. This resulted in Harrison Butker's perfect season going down the drain, and even our kicker missed. So this was the NFL's fault. They're the ones that was in control of the footballs, but somehow they were underinflated by like 2 to 2.5 psi, which is quite a bit. Check it from me. You do not want to kick an underinflated ball. It's very strange. It sucks. So it's hard to get accuracy with that thing. Now, what I'm expecting, no, I shouldn't say that. Well, I'll say that sarcastically. What I'm expecting is a full investigation I think Ted Wells should be involved. I think he should do a report. I think we should call this one the Ted Wells Commission, name it after the Warren Commission that investigated JFK's assassination. So, let's see. I think everybody, Roger Goodell, since he's in charge of the referees and all that, I think he should be suspended for a year. Can't do his job. I think he should be called an idiot and a moron through the media and Sports Illustrated and everybody, all the major news, and everybody needs to talk shit about him and about the refs who are the idiots who did it, use their name. Ask for their cell phones, ask for their information, ask for all their private correspondence, their emails, and leak every single thing that they've ever said to anybody. You got to do that, and make sure you do that. And, and fine them a lot of money. So, yeah, I think that would be sufficient. So, no one cares because it has nothing to do with the Patriots and Brady. Nobody. I mean, it could have been the Patriots and nobody would give a shit. So, because they're not winning. That's the point. Deflategate was invented, okay, by the Ravens and Colts. So the Ravens are the ones that basically nodded to the Colts like, hey, you should check this out. And they ran with it. So I tell you what, it really took attention in a different way. It made the NFL look like they were taking the integrity of the game seriously after the whole Bountygate stuff. So it was very good PR for them to make it look like they were like, oh, the game matters, the integrity of the game matters. See, we care, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. But like usual, justice is never equal. It's never applied equally in anything, it seems like. So, whatever. The real Deflategate with Brady, I think, if Robert Kraft had any honor at all, well, if he had any honor, he would have never submitted, and he would have defended Tom through everything. But once he did submit, he probably should have just given the team to Jonathan and bowed out. Well, if he had any integrity, he would have done that after he was caught in a massage parlor. So, but, yeah. Yeah, Israel says it's only fair if they suspend Mahomes 4 games for this, right? I don't care about facts and logic. Just suspend him. Yeah, do it. Why not? Yeah. So it looks like Buffalo's got the lead. We're in the fourth quarter now, so it's 21-16. We've been on for a little over an hour. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the contest now, and then after that, make picks for tomorrow, and then anything else you guys want to talk about. Okay? So give me just one moment. I will grab the dice and stuff, and we'll get this show on the road. So. Another, more sirens again. Somebody killing somebody, probably. Who the hell knows? All right. Just get this. All right. So. We have first up okay, there we go. All right, so we have John Thomas Chavez versus Tyree Vaughn. I'm gonna flip. This is Martin Luther King, MLK Jr. coin. Front is touchdown, turnover ratio. Back, America first, is yards. Okay, so here we go. Heads, it is. So John and Tyree. Your stat is TDR. And so be thinking about your quarterback. On deck is Elf of Courage versus James Grant. Your stat. Ah! Not good. All right. Your stat is also heads, TDR. And you're on deck, so be thinking about it. Now remember, guys, don't post yours until I've come back to your game here. So, okay. So John's first. He picks Brock Purdy. Let's do that. All right. Okay, Tyree. Mahomes. Okay. Elf of Courage, you're next, and James Grant. On deck is James Johnson and Tyree Vaughn, and your stat will be heads, touchdown, interception ratio. And coming up behind him will be Jalen versus Luke. And your stat is yards. Okay, so let's go back. Now, Elf of Courage, I need yours. He goes Jalen Hurts. James Grant, I don't think James Grant is here. So I'm going to roll the dice for him. That's a 4. A 4 gives him Dak Prescott. Okay. James Johnson versus Tyree Vaughn. James is not here, so Tyree, go ahead and make your pick. And on deck is Jalen and Luke. After that, Alpha Courage and Justin Shetlet, your stat will be yards. So be thinking about that as well. Okay, Tyree. Tyree, I'm going to need your quarterback, bud. Okay, Jalen and Luke, I can go ahead and take your quarterback. Jalen, you're first. Or you can give them to me at the same time, but I'm going to list Jalen and gets priority because his name's on top. Tyree goes Purdy again. Okay, and James Johnson rolled a 5, so that gives him Justin Fields. All right. Okay, Jalen and Luke, I'm still waiting on you guys. It's yards. TDR is touchdown to turnover ratio. So I take your touchdowns, any touch, however they get it doesn't matter. And I take your turnovers, so that's a lost fumble or a pick. And I subtract, or do a ratio there, and then whatever the positive or negative number is your score. So okay, Jalen goes Purdy. Whoa. Okay, Luke. Is Luke here? I thought he was earlier. Guess not. No, looks like I'm going to roll for Luke. All right. Is that a 9? Yep, it's a 9. Okay, that gives him... well, no, that can't be Stafford because he already played. 12. Ouch. Well, maybe not. Oh, okay. Jared Goff. Okay, Alpha Courage, I need you and Justin. I need y'all's quarterbacks for yards. And Justin, you're on deck again against Blind Assassin. And that matchup will be yards. Elf goes Tua. And Justin, what you got for me? Mahomes for yards? Okay. And do you want Mahomes for both of your matchups? Because they're both yards. You and Blind Assassin. Just waiting on you guys now. Jackson for the other. Okay, nice. All right, Blind Assassin. Just waiting for you now, bud. And then we can go to the other side. I think. No, we got one more. On deck, we've got James Grant versus my mom. I don't think either one of them are here. That's a TDR. So, Blind Assassin goes Jared Goff. Okay, good luck, guys. All right. On deck, Nightly Sinister versus Jalen. Your statistic is TDR. Touchdown to turnover ratio. Okay, so I'm going to roll for James Grant first. That's an 8. That gives him Mahomes. And for my mom, she gets a 7, and that is Lamar Jackson. Okay, I will be rolling for Nightly Sinister. Because I don't think he's here. So that just leaves Jalen. Jalen, I need a quarterback from you. That is touchdown to turnover ratio. And I'm going to roll for Nightly Sinister. I rolled him a 7. Okay. So Jalen goes Purdy. And Nightly Sinister rolled a 7, and a 7 is Jackson. Okay, that takes us to the other side. All right, that gives us first we got Ryan Dyer versus Bitcoin Motorist. Oh, that's sideways. There we go. Heads. Okay, Ryan Dyer and Bitcoin, your stat is touchdown to turnover ratio. Justin and Elf, you're on deck. You guys are on deck for yards. And coming up behind them is the Gourd King and Blind Assassin. And your stat is TDR. Okay, so going back to Ryan Dyer and Bitcoin Motorist. I don't think Ryan is here. So that gives Bitcoin priority. Bitcoin picks Hertz. Mine hurts, Brent. All right. I rolled a 2 for Ryan Dyer. That gives him Hertz. Oh. Roll again. I rolled a 2 again. That's hilarious. Okay. Holy, I'm not joking, guys. I just rolled a third 2 in a row. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. 10. Baker Mayfield. Okay. So now I need Justin Shedlett and Elf of Courage for yards. And on deck, so be thinking about your quarterbacks, Gourd King and Blind Assassin for touchdown to turnover ratio. Okay, Justin, I'm going to need your quarterback first since you're on top. Stroud. And Elf went Mahomes. Okay. Gourd King. That's you. Gourd King and Blind Assassin. That's a good one, John. That's a nice pun. All right. Gourd King goes Mahomes. And that just leaves us with Blind Assassin, so need your quarterback. And on deck, we've got Justin and Bitcoin. And that's yards for you guys. Blind Assassin goes Dak. All right. Moving along well here. So Justin and Bitcoin, I need a quarterback for you for yards. All right. Justin goes Mahomes. Bitcoin goes Prescott. Dakota. All right. That gives us Chris Queeley versus Tyree Vaughn. Your stat is TDR. Whoa. What the hell? Okay. So Chris and Tyree, I don't think Chris is here, but Tyree, you're on and Blind Assassin and Nefertiti is on deck. And your stat will be, why did that thing keep landing sideways? Tails, yards. And coming up behind him is Nightwalker and Elf of Courage. That's TDR there for you guys. So, okay, so going back to Chris and Tyree. Tyree, just waiting on you. Mahomes or Dak? Okay, so let me roll the dice for Chris. Chris rolls a 4. That's Dak. All right. So that gives you Mahomes. Okay, Blind Assassin versus Nefertiti. Blind Assassin, you go first. Can't violate the rules, Blind Assassin, although I really appreciate how much of a gentleman you are. And on deck is Nightwalker versus Elf of Courage for touchdown to turnover ratio. Blind Assassin goes Jared Goff. Nefertiti goes Tua. Her and the Miami Dolphins, I swear. I don't know why she likes them. Ugh. Just because you lived in Miami doesn't mean you have to support them. Nightwalker, are you here? Elf of Courage, be thinking about your quarterback for TDR. And on deck is Tyree versus my dad. Dad couldn't be on here tonight, I don't think. I don't think he could make it. He would have said he was here. So that stat is heads, so that's touchdown, interception, or turnover ratio. And that's it. So, okay. So, Elf of Courage. Stroud. All right. Okay. And for Nightwalker, I'll roll. A 4. That's Prescott. Okay, Tyree Vaughn picks Prescott. And for my dad to finish this, is an 8. It looks like. Yep, 8. 8 is Mahomes. Okay. And I'm just going to scroll down these so you can always come back to it later if you need to reference. So we've got John Thomas Chavez with Purdy going against Tyree Vaughn with Mahomes. We've got Elf of Courage going with Hurts versus James Grant. Wait, we didn't give James Grant a quarterback. Okay. 7. Jackson. Okay. Then we've got James Johnson going with Fields versus Tyree Vaughn, who has Purdy. Jalen has Purdy versus Luke R's Goff. Elf of Courage is Tua versus Justin's Mahomes. Justin's Jackson versus Blind Assassin's Goff. James Grant's Mahomes versus Moogie's Jackson. Nightly Sinister Jackson versus Jalen Purdy. Ryan Dyer with Mayfield versus Bitcoin Motorist is Jalen Hurts. Justin with Stroud versus Elf of Courage is Mahomes. The Gourd King, Mahomes versus Blind Assassin's Prescott. Justin's Mahomes versus Bitcoin's Prescott for yards. Chris Quayley's Prescott versus Tyree's Mahomes for TDR. Blind Assassin's Goff versus Nefertiti's Tua for yards. Nightwalker's Prescott versus Elf of Courage's Stroud for TDR. Tyree's Prescott versus Thomas Allen's Mahomes for TDR. All right. All right, good luck, you guys. Looks like I missed something there. Something. What the hell's going on? What's with this game? So the Bills are finding a way to lose somehow, or is it the NFL intervening again? I wish I could show this on the screen with you for you guys, but dang it.
In between frames too. You're not seeing one fluid, you're seeing snapshot. And
The frames.
it was close.
Very close. The frames
We
return
got,
to the replays. You go next.
Right.
Each one a frame along the way. You put them all together, and there's your movie. This
2
is a
minutes
heck of a
and
movie.
29 seconds left in the
And a
fourth
heck of a
quarter.
movie. It's-
Buffalo has 2 timeouts left. They got 21 points. LA Chargers have 22 points and no timeouts.
2:29
First and 10 for the Buffalo Bills.
stoppage at the 2-minute warning.
Let me see where their field position is.
Bill's got a whole bunch of big guys.
Okay, they're on the
Extra
13, about to
offensive
score.
line one more time.
Well,
Leonard
you think they're about to score. We'll see.
first game he's
And a run up the middle that goes nowhere. Woo!
around the 10-yard line, and that'll get us to the 2-minute warning. Bills
Yeah, I didn't get to see
trying
the
to
missed
keep
call or whatever.
their control to get in the playoffs.
Well, if the Chargers can stop them, they will have an opportunity. You hope you hold them to a field goal. There will be some time left on the clock with no timeouts at that point to go try and win the football game.
Yeah,
I
so
wonder
this is a
now,
situational thing.
if you go down and break a run, now you have all those things. Are the Chargers going to let them score? If the Buffalo Bills break a run, they're probably going to tell them pick up the
So
first down.
Chargers don't have any timeouts.
Right? And then
at the
take
3.
a knee. Because you want to burn the rest of this clock, and so far the Bills have been masterful.
Just get a
on
first
this
down, you
run.
can put this thing away.
Well, we said at the beginning the Chargers made the changes, GM and head coach, after the blowout, 63-21. But this team has been so close so often. Within 3 points, 0-5 this year, approaching the 1994 Houston Oilers.
That audio's coming through. I hope I don't get
Story the last couple of years. The
cut off.
Bills have been in so many close games. They figured law of averages was going to balance, and it just never has. And here
Can y'all hear the game coming through?
So significant that they make a stop here.
Y'all hear the commentary?
They just have to just do everything in their power here to sell out and make this stop. Another first down, you almost can't win.
Well, they almost screwed that play up. That was.
score, no thought to that. Austin Johnson the stop. Clock will
You can hear Chris Collinsworth's creepiness.
come at a minute 15.
I wonder if he talked about Landon Dickerson coming down someone's throat.
The problem of not letting
Although maybe there's a Dickerson on the team here, one of these teams.
have 25 seconds or so.
And you almost have to
He was talking
run
about
the
Landon
ball or a
Dickerson
screen or some
on the Eagles.
pure play, because this clock has to keep running if you're the Buffalo Bills and you don't pick this up.
Running a play, the average
This is hilarious. So now, yeah, 3rd and 10. Come on, man. Throw the ball. There we go. No, Josh is a quarterback keeper.
plowing forward.
Okay.
11, stopped at 111. Clock will come down to 31 seconds.
All right. I
McDermott will
mean,
likely take a timeout, and the field goal attempt will come.
it's safe, I guess. You know, it's safe. It's,
Well, this has been some
Yeah,
Peacock special.
that's fine.
This is good fun, I'm telling you. You and I talked about it all week. I mean, this was the
Yeah,
classic
safe
trap
and
game
secure.
for the Buffalo
Should be
Bills.
good.
We knew it was, and we also knew
Obviously,
from
you don't
being
want
in
to
the facility
block the field course. That would be a
they
disaster.
were
But
fired up and they were ready for this one. They
block field
were
goal is very unlikely that
ready to
this
play
this
ball.
close.
They've given the Bills everything
The
they can handle.
Sean McDermott asks for the timeout with one on the play clock.
the kicker at that close of a range, the kicker can kick it up and over.
And then if it's good, the Chargers will be
It doesn't have to hit a low trajectory.
probably about 25 seconds left to try to make it.
I know. I'm talking like John Madden here, stating the obvious, but
Do is get it in field goal range.
I don't know how to
That's the hottest
commentate
kicker
like
in the
play by
world.
play.
Down there going for it, right?
Tyler Bass, you saw his mark in those money kicks. He has missed 5 field goals.
Yeah,
this year.
this sequence has been good. I think this is the right call.
Kicking Buffalo
They've been
does
doing the
get
right
some
thing.
weather. It's a little bit tougher. It's not the best place to have a great kicking percentage. And as I said earlier, he likes to kick off the left hash because his ball naturally goes
All right, I just want to see
This kick
what
was
happens
off
here,
the
and
right
and then I'll make the picks for the weekend.
Tons of kicks in there, but of note, that's the natural fights. Like if you hit a golf ball, it certainly goes one way most of the time. That's him.
And Allen could have gone to the other
All
half.
right, kicker, let's see what you got, buddy.
From 29.
29 yards. Just kick it up and over, up and over. There it is.
And the Buffalo Bills lead with
Okay, so the Chargers have 28 seconds. Oh, flag on the play.
It's like they were offside.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Yeah, that's not going to change anything.
All right.
The one thing is he's McDermott just sorting here.
It's more chaos now.
Getting to the 5 on the kickoff. And being being told, good thought, but no.
Offside defense, number 26, lined up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. The field goal.
Elva Courage is $5 super chat. To remind the chat, if your stat is yards, a sack will count against you. Actually, Elf, that's not possible. The like Bitcoin pointed out earlier, it's already factored in. So in the box score, so whatever the yardage is in the box score is already accounted for the lost yardage on the sacks. So we don't even have to do the math on that. We don't have to do that. Thank you for the super chat, though. Appreciate it.
Against a hot, good football team that has been playing really well, and they're going to get one more shot.
And the Buffalo Bills have seen the craziest set of games this year. The overtime loss to the Jets, stopping the Giants at the 12 men on the field. How will this one end? It's a bouncer taken by Kelly. Joshua brings it to the 30-yard line. They're going to need about 35 yards with no timeouts and 23 seconds left. When we're done, it's the Chevrolet postgame. Melissa will interview the stars of the game.
Okay, let's see what the Chargers can do here.
Sunday night on NBC and
Which is probably absolutely nothing.
The last game of the calendar year 2023.
But I tell you what,
It was a really good play by Joshua Kelly. Fielding that ball
if
there probably saved 5 to 7 seconds.
this dude pulls out a win here, the Bills are finished. Like, just mentally finished. And that's not going to happen. Game over. Huge sack.
Get something done here. Can they kill the clock? No, they're going to run a play. Might be the last one. Stick with a shot for Johnston.
Why did he run a play there? Was he trying to... I mean, what was that all about? What you do there is you spike the ball, and then you try to put, like a 4 verticals out there or something, try to get a PI, on the opposite side of the 50.
Here he comes. Everybody knows who's the main threat. They just
Oh, shit, they got 1 second left.
don't slide the line that
Huh.
way, and it cost him.
That's funny. Yeah, because the game can't end on a defensive penalty, so you'd get a kick. Wow, I thought that was game over. There's 1 second left. Those refs better check that clock, because I thought the time ran out.
And what he's going to say is the only way we lose this game is with a foul. You simply cannot
No
give up a
PI.
pass interference. If they catch the ball, that's fine. We just have to be around and make the tackle. So now offensively, if you're Easton Stick, you need some kind of a tip play. You need something else to give.
Come on, get on with it. Fuck.
Chris, they're putting, I think, every defensive back they have dressed on the field. They're rushing with Von Miller and Greg Rousseau. Everybody else is a DB because those are the best guys to chase it around when you're throwing it backwards, which Stick will probably...
There we go, going back. No!
A lot of Bills on that side. Eckler tosses it back to Stick. He throws it all the way across the field to Alex Erickson. Erickson coming down the sideline, back into traffic at the 20. Erickson
This is hilarious. That was forward pass. Throw it deep, man. Come on. Throw it deep. Try to get a PI. That's really your only hope. The only way that's going to work is if Bill Belichick is the coach of the opposite side. Okay? So, I don't see Belichick out there. So, not going to work. Well, the Bills needed that. I don't know. Is he proposing marriage to him? Holy shit. That's the dude that McDermott. He tried to coach up the Bills by telling them they needed to be a team like the guys who did 9/11. That's an interesting It's an interesting approach, I'd say. Okay. So the Bills hold on, but at least the Chargers made a game out of it, something that they couldn't do with their moronic head coach that was there. All right. Let's make these picks real quick. Okay, Atlanta versus Indianapolis. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going Indy here. Seattle at Tennessee. Tennessee. What are you going to say? You know, Seattle. Yeah, I know the Seattle's favorite, but I'm going to go ahead and go Titans here. I know that sounds kind of weird, but Cleveland at Houston. Wow, this is an important game for Cleveland. I'm going to go with my heart here. I'm going to say Cleveland. New York Jets versus Washington. This is the who gives a flying shit game, but I'm going Washington. Detroit at Minnesota. Detroit has not been. They've been very weird on the road in the division with the division games, so I'm going to go Minnesota here over Detroit. Green Bay at Carolina. Green Bay. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. I'm going Jacksonville. Miami versus the Cowboys. I'm going Dallas on this one. Chicago versus the Cardinals. I'm going Arizona here. Wait, no. I'm going Chicago. Denver versus the Patriots. Denver easily. Kansas City versus the Raiders. What the fuck? Monday, 10 a.m. This is hilarious. I mean, there's no way the Chiefs lose this, right? It just seems like one of those weird games, one of those trap games. Like, reminds me of a few years back when the Raiders did that. Is that one of them? Is this one of them? No, it's not. Chiefs are going to win that. Okay. Philadelphia versus New York Giants. Philly will bounce back here. San Francisco versus Baltimore. This is the game. Monday Night Football. Can't wait for this. And in my opinion, this is about where the location is. So I think this is 49ers here. But this is gonna be good. So nice. All right. Yep. Okay. Alrighty. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a fun weekend and a merry, merry, merry Christmas. So good luck in the tournament, and we'll have some fun games this weekend. Hopefully some weird stuff happens, and as always, if something weird happens, I'll probably check in. Also, I have some new things coming up, and we'll talk about them. Tonight's not a good time to talk about it, but Merry Christmas, guys, and yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you soon.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports, the Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Vaughn Allen Sports.